Smiling Friends is done. The creators, Zach Hadel and Michael Cusack, just announced that the show is ending after 3 seasons, with 2 more episodes coming out in April. The total of 27 episodes being Smiling Friends. That's it. And I found myself having a lot to say about the matter. For starters, let's get this out of the way. I can't think of the last time that a show this big ended so soon, and it's honestly impressive in a really weird way, because the creators ended this on their own terms. You don't normally get that with a TV show. Usually the show is canceled by the network and that's about it. But with Smiling Friends, it's just done because the creators wanted to be done. I want to kind of give my take on Smiling Friends throughout the years, since I made one video like 2 years ago talking about it, and it's honestly not that great of a video. So let's go through it. I vividly remember when the pilot episode was released by Adult Swim on April Fools. I'm someone that watches Adult Swim like crazy. I fall asleep to it every night. It's honestly just a really unique space for anybody to make anything they want. Of course, within, standards and practices and whatnot. But I mean, it's home to the Eric Andre show. It's home to Rick and Morty, which we'll get into Rick and Morty, but also stuff like Haha You Clowns and Xavier Renegade Angel. I mean, it's really different from every other network. And so I love it for that reason. I love just how much of a variety it kind of is, where one show is wildly different from the next. I mean, This House Has People in It can premiere on the same exact network as Family Guy.
Hey, Peter, you want to see my paginas?
I don't know.
Not to mention, I feel like every Zoomer male loves Oni Plays and probably grew up with Psychic Pebbles cartoons. I mean, the influence cannot be understated in that regard. So that was my reason for watching it, was just because I love Zach Hadel's work. Michael Cusack, at the time, I was not that well versed in what he was doing. However, I found myself really enjoying a lot of his stuff too. I love Bushworld Adventures. He's a really creative person, and honestly, I want to check out more of his work that I've maybe only seen a little bit of here and there. And that pilot is downright incredible. The Smiling Friends pilot might very well be one of the best ever, up there, at least for me, with like Twin Peaks. And the reason being is it's so different from anything else that had been coming out at the time, especially in adult animation. For mainstream audiences, it's kind of like you get your Family Guy, you get your Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, and those shows are fine. I like Bob's Burgers a lot, actually. However, I feel like this really just was made for me as a Gen Z, Zoomer, ADHD, I don't know what you want me to say, but I mean, like, this really feels like a show meant for my generation. Family Guy is very Gen X, I'd say, borderline millennial at points, probably like early millennial, but like late Gen X. You get Bob's Burgers, which is very millennial. Simpsons is obviously very Gen X. South Park is kind of in that same range of like millennial, like Gen X sort of area. And that's not derogatory in any way. I love those shows. I still love South Park. However, this was really the first Zoomer show in the best way to describe it, even though Zach and Michael are not Zoomers. It just nailed internet humor, and a lot of that just has to do with those creators coming from the internet. And of course, that show would get greenlit because the pilot was phenomenal and the reaction to it was like nothing else. It was an instant sensation. And season 1, I think, is phenomenal. There's not a single bad episode in that entire mix. I've seen it more times than I can count. It is, I hate the term comfort show, but it is very much a comfort show for me. If I had a bad day at work, I'm throwing on Smiling Friends, and I'm just gonna watch season 1. Season 2, on the other hand, I also really, really like, even if I do think that the highs aren't as high as season 1, but again, it's like a solid 9 out of 10 for me. It's still fantastic. And season 3 was a huge step up from 2. I mean, it's almost on par with 1. Good lord, the Schmaloogle episode is probably my favorite Smiling Friends episode ever. I love the rotoscope workout scenes. Oh, so funny. The Halloween episode is fantastic. I mean, all their Halloween episodes are great. The Christmas episodes, I love that they did these holiday-themed episodes. It was just so refreshing. I really enjoyed it. I did. I love that they were 11 minutes, too. They're quick in and out. You watch it, And that's it. It's not asking you to go on some odyssey that goes on forever. And not to mention, too, the cameos. Good lord. I'm not someone who soy faces over cameos very often, but I love how selective they were and how niche some of these cameos were. Like getting the Burger King foot lettuce guy, Chills, getting him to appear in your episode for like one line is just hilarious.
Could I get the number 15?
Sure thing, hon.
I love that Gilbert Gottfried, one of his last roles, by the way, was playing God on this show.
Quickly, Charlie, get on!
On top of that, too, Mike Stacklasa from Red Letter Media.
Hello. What's up, man?
I mean, these are really, with the exception of Gilbert Gottfried, these are internet-centric cameos, and I just think that's so cool. But with season 3, there was a lot of discourse that Smiling Friends would ultimately end up as the next Rick and Morty. And sure, it very much was the next Rick and Morty in the eyes of Adult Swim. I mean, look at all the bumpers that they did for this show. Good lord, they're impressive to look at. I love them. That little part of my brain was like, we're starting to get a bit too into Smiling Friends stuff, and it's almost becoming that Rick and Morty-esque, oversaturation, overexposure. And I was just kind of thinking, maybe some of these naysayers have a point, because there was a lot of discourse at the time of people saying, this is the next Rick and Morty. We're going to start seeing the show gradually decline in quality. And I started to kind of get worried about that. And it seems like the creators maybe did. I'm not saying that discourse played a huge factor in this decision of ending the show after 3 seasons. But yeah, it's weird to think, though. And on one hand, I have a lot of respect for Zach and Michael. I mean, I had this respect when the show first started, but it's only continued as they didn't sell out, they stuck to their guns, they maintained full creative control, and on top of that too, they're ending on a high note. I think that if they really do end it here, and this is the last, and this isn't, some bit where, they announce like, oh, we're actually at season 4, this was all like a marketing stunt, I don't know. But if this truly is the end of the show, I think they have secured a legendary status that will never be topped. They ended it before the show could jump the shark and become Rick and Morty, because let's be honest, modern Rick and Morty is just terrible. Everything after season 3 is just god-awful, and season 3 was kind of jumping that shark a little bit. It was on the ramp, if you will. I think it's also really interesting, too, that they were so open about being burnt out by the creation of this show, because creative burnout is something that a lot of people talk about on YouTube. I've talked about it here and there on my channel, but for someone who is running a TV show to just be so transparent and say, I'm getting burnt out, and we don't want to, be stressed at the concept of having to constantly up ourselves and, make a better product each time. We think we're proud of what we did, and we're going to end the show. That's very commendable, in my opinion. I doubt that this will be the last we've ever heard from Michael Cusack or Zach Hadel. I'm very certain that Adult Swim is just going to give them the keys to the kingdom, and whenever they have a new show idea, it's getting greenlit no matter what. Smiling Friends has been a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, just look at some of the fan stuff that has come out of this. When they did that New York Expo thing, and they had the giant Smiling Friends ball, and people could go in and, take pictures. I mean, the lines are crazy. They have proven themselves as being people who could make gold, essentially. They are King Midas. And maybe that mindset, too, is also, like, kind of bumming them out, stressing them out to the point where they're just like, I'm done. Regardless, if this is the end of Smiling Friends, then bravo. Like, standing ovation. I applaud you. Here's your update on Reddit, because good lord, what a show. I am going to be the first one in line to buy that Blu-ray for Smiling Friends, the complete series. I really do think that this is a show that spoke to my generation, not speaking on behalf of my generation, but I mean, for Zoomers, I think this is our Family Guy, this is our South Park, and I can't wait to see what they do next. I am fully supportive no matter what, and I just think that, they did it. It's really cool, and you can get into the discourse about, they avoided being the next Rick and Morty. You can talk about all that. I'm not going to. I think for what the show is and what it was able to accomplish, so cool. It's so impressive. Looking at the industry as a whole, I do think that we are going to see some Smiling Friends knockoffs. I could very much see Fox trying to replicate this, or Comedy Central, or whoever. You know, I'm very certain we're going to see them trying to replicate this style. And I think the only way you can replicate it is maybe find someone who is an online animator and then just give them the keys to the kingdom. But most TV networks don't want to do that. They don't want to give creative control. Adult Swim does that for the most part. And so ultimately, I think they're just going to churn out slop that's going to be forgettable. It's like when, what was it? The Nut Shack. Like when they tried to be like the Filipino South Park, and it was not good. You need to do more than just, well, we're going to be the blank smiling friends. Like, I really think you have to, as a network, take your hands off and just let the creators make what they want to make. But I doubt we'll see that. And that's just speculation at this point. Regardless, I will be tuning in for the last 2 episodes that premiere in April. And, yeah, that's all I really have to say on the matter. This was a very quickly made, improvised video. So if you like what I had to say here, consider subscribing. If you're a channel member, thank you so much. It's only $1.99 a month. You get access to the Discord server, as well as a multitude of other perks. Your names are listed right up here on screen. I'm Cole McCormick. You're watching Firewood Media. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.